Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Then We're back finally after a whole year almost with part 11 for What If Naruto was the Sage of Six Paths. Oh my gosh, I have no idea where the time went. So it has been a lot longer of a hiatus than I had originally planned, almost now 12 months ago. But yeah, the playlist is still there. It's up here in the top upper right hand corner, and it'll have parts 1 through all the way to 10. And now we're here in part 11 for What If Naruto was the Sage of Six Paths. So yeah, it's almost over actually. We were getting close to the finale. Part 12 is what I have written here for what's going to be the ending, and yeah, it's all here, so we're going to do it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this, and yeah, I definitely want to go back and rewatch that. I'll be posting the whole thing as a movie, though, so once part 12 comes out later this week. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll have Rewind Deku be coming out later on in the week. And yeah, let's just get into this part for What If Naruto was the Sage of Six Paths. Last time, Naruto and Jiraiya had returned to the Leaf Village, with Naruto angry and disappointed to find that his son, Sasuke, had not returned yet as he had promised. With Hagoromo, Naruto, who had already had his memories of his previous incarnation, being the Sage of Six Paths, all returned, this version of Naruto is far wiser and more powerful, with Kurama's full support since he is the old man, and Kurama respects Hagoromo. With the two now working together after his reawakening, Naruto is now aware and has told the Leaf Village's leader Tsunade about the rise of the Ten Tails, as well as Kage Otsutsuki and what the Akatsuki is planning to do, which is to capture all of the tailed beasts. With the Leaf Village already warning the Sand Village about the One Tail's attempt to be stolen, they would not know that Deidara and Sasori had already striked that day that they had sent that message, with Gaara having already been taken. Now it was time for Naruto to be sent out on his first mission, now back after returning from his espionage and information gathering with Jiraiya. It was time for Naruto and his team to set out and try to find the Akatsuki to take them down. Naruto would be already put on this team considering he has the full power of the Nine Tails as well as all of his other six paths jutsu he can use, along with every nature release. Naruto at this point is, no understatement, the strongest person in the world, considering that at this point in time, this Naruto is as strong, if not stronger, than the end of the War Arc Naruto that we saw, which was, Sage of Six Paths Naruto with Kaseyama. So this Naruto, with Hagoromo's power, jutsu knowledge, and Kurama's full support, is insane. And it's no small feat to say that he could take on the entire Akatsuki by himself. That is, excluding a few specific circumstances like being the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, for example. Which is now, at this point, pretty much impossible to the Akatsuki considering that Naruto is in possession of Kurama. Kurama's other half would still be sealed within Minato, and he would know this, Naruto, with him and Kurama having discussed what happened to his chakra, considering Hagoromo actually knew Kurama at his full power, would know that something was up. And so they would leave Minato in charge of the other half of the Nine Tails, considering that the Akatsuki couldn't actually get it unless they revived him, and Minato wouldn't be so easily to revive him as the other Kage, as has been proven by Orochimaru and his attempt several years ago now to crush Konoha. Now it was time with Naruto being put on the team with Kakashi and Yamato, the three being sent to go and take down the Akatsuki members trying to take the One Tails. In this version, Jiraiya would still be sent off by himself to go and intercept the Paths of Pain in the Rain Village, that being his duty from Tsunade. So Jiraiya would leave alongside at the same time as Naruto, Kakashi, and Yamato. Just as like in the original, Danzo would not be happy sending the Nine Tails away so soon after it had just returned to the village from one of the Sanin's care, and so Sai would be sent with on the mission, with his same mission to assassinate Sasuke still being prevalent just as it was in the original, and this time Rock Lee would also come along, with Naruto insisting that Lee accompany him. No one is aware that Rock Lee is the reincarnation of Asura, which is Hagoromo's other son who had originally entrusted Senjutsu and all of Ninshu to, but Naruto, who would be Hagoromo, would insist that Lee come with his own reasons being to have Lee and Sasuke actually confront each other if they do seem to run into each other, which seems possible with them going after the Akatsuki, which is a rogue terrorist group, and Sasuke also being a rogue ninja. So the correlation between the two is not to be underestimated. Naruto would be obviously prepared to take on Sasuke no matter how powerful he had become, but he wanted Lee to be the one to actually battle Sasuke if the time came, with Asura and Indra having to attain respect for each other and become mutual in order for his goal to even happen, which is to end the cycle of reincarnation, as well as to stop Kaguya's revival, his mother, that he and his own brother had sealed many years ago. Naruto, Lee, Kakashi, and Yamato, the four as the ninja group, would head out, with this Team 7 along with Sai, being sent for the route Anbu, would be heading now towards the Sand Village. Sakura would not be prevalent or be coming with on this mission. She'd be staying behind with Tsunade, because in this version, Lee was the one on the same team as Sasuke and Naruto instead, and that's why they weren't even in really close proximity. So what little character development Sakura would have had isn't even really here. Anyway, putting that aside for now, a one-day trip to the Sand Village from the Leaf was about 3 days travel running. Assuming they're not using any speed buffs, like, for example, Naruto using KCM and then speeding forward at, like, sound and light speeds using Kurama's power, which he didn't do because he was part of a team and he couldn't just leave them behind. And so Naruto would travel with them for 3 days through the sandstorms, making it across the country and through the border into the Land of Wind, where they would eventually come to the Great Sand Dunes leading to the Sand Village, having been completely bombarded by Deidara and Sasori of the Akatsuki. Naruto having arrived with Lee and Sasuke, in this version it would be Naruto who would be the one to heal Kankuro of his poison wounds from Sasori, with Naruto entering to the medical facility and using his 6-pass power, his Asura path, in order to heal immediately. This effect on Kankuro would immediately heal him to 100%, similar to how Naruto had helped Guy in the original and during the war arc. So Naruto would just immediately heal Kankuro, just neutralizing the poison, making it useless. Lady Chiho would be shocked, as well as her having her problem with the White Fang being Kakashi's father, I should say. And all of that still happening just like the original timeline. This time, Kankuro would actually go with them, guiding them towards the direction that the Akatsuki members had taken the Kazekage, that being Gaara. Now, one thing to remember is that this Naruto in this timeline has no desire to really actually become Hokage, especially after his awakening as Hagoromo, so this revelation of Gaara being a Kazekage wouldn't have as much of an emotional effect as it had on the original Naruto. Anyway, Naruto using his Rinnegan would be able to track the senses of chakra left behind, as well as look for any traps that Sasori had planted. This would be a perfect test for Lee, he'd be thinking, placing Lee when they come to battle against Sasori, a master of puppets. Lady Chiho and Kankuro would be coming along with the group, and so once they had finally made it to the great hideout with Naruto's Rinnegan tracking the chakra of the One-Tails, this would be when Naruto decides it's time to rush in to stop the actual process from occurring. Naruto would leap down as he tells them that he'll take care of the boulder. The massive rock in front of the Akatsuki's hideout would still be there, but Naruto would take it out with ease. "Let's do this, Kurama. You got it, old man." Kurama would then pound his fist into Naruto, or Hagoromo, their chakra colliding, as Naruto would power into KCM, as he then holds his hand back, creating a Bijou Dama, a large Bijou bomb, crashing into the stones a good sent flying into the mountain, crushing anyone who would have been behind it. "Probably should have looked out for Gaara there, shouldn't I?" Naruto had said. Luckily for Naruto, Gaara would have been laying flat on the ground, and so the boulder would have just destroyed the statue that was standing there, along with forcing Deidara and Sasori to leap back to avoid the destruction. With the entire cave beginning to collapse around, this would take the battle outside, as Gaara would be snagged quickly by one of the Kyuubi arms from Naruto, pulling him outside, seeing the One Tails has already been removed. Damn it, just a little too late. Sorry, Shikaku. Naruto would look up just as Deidara was about to throw an explosion at him. Naruto would swipe upwards, summoning a truth-seeking orb, canceling the explosion and cutting the clay in half, killing the chakra within it using the truth-seeking orb's power. What the? Naruto would then throw a spear of truth-seeking orb towards Deidara, adjusting and moving it with his Rinnegan power, as he then slams into Deidara, sending him flying back into the wall and piercing into his hand, right into the mouth on his hand, and into the wall, now trapping him. Lee, Naruto would call up. Take care of this one. Sasori would have already tried attacking Naruto, who would have pushed him back using his Rinnegan Almighty Push, sending Sasori flying back into the cave. Are you sure? You seem to have it handled fine, Naruto. Naruto would look up to Lee, saying, "Can you just do this? Trust me, I want to see how strong you've gotten." Lee would smile, saying, "All right," as he then jumps down, landing to the ground. This would be when Kankuro, Chiho, Yamato, and Kakashi would follow suit as they make it down to the land, with Kakashi being on task from Naruto's instruction to watch Deidara in case they attempt to escape, with them having successfully captured two Akatsuki. Naruto would be watching the battle with Lee as Lee versus Sasori would begin. Sasori would say, "You think you can really control the situation, huh, Nine-Tails brat?" Sasori would then summon his 100 puppets, using the iron sand going all out. Chiho would offer Lee to use her ninjutsu of puppetry in order to help him move better, but Lee would tell her there's no need, as he powers up into the 5th gate. Lee in the 8th gate would be incredibly fast, able to rival Might Guy in terms of power and speed. This version of Lee being able to use Guy's techniques, considering he can actually wield chakra much more efficiently, actually able to use Hirodora, crashing it into Sasori and sending the puppets flying back. Many of them would be using weapons as they try and surround Lee, but Lee would be faster than a blink of an eye, and Sasori couldn't even track him, as Sasori would eventually have to reveal his real body to dodge an attack, crushing his old vessel that was concealing him, but several traps would be blasted towards Lee. Lee would kick the poison away, unstrapping the leg weights as they go flying off into the traps that are about to collide with him, the weights crushing into the ground and causing dust to fly up. This would be Lee versus Sasori, as Sasori would now be in his true form, him with his red hair and his younger looking body, his heart canister sticking out in the middle of his chest just like it had in the original. The battle at this point is practically over, with Lee being an overwhelming victor. Using Guy Sensei's techniques as well as just his overwhelming speed and power, Sasori would not have even made the offer of giving information if they could beat him, with Lee being a considerable threat. Before Lee finishes off Sasori, Naruto would tell him to wait, as he then walks forward, Sasori being battered and beaten, trying to attack Naruto with one last puppet using the iron sand of the previous Kazekage. Naruto would swipe his hand, brushing it all away, able to just completely neutralize the chakra being thrown at him. This would be when Naruto would look into Sasori's eyes and activate his Rinnegan, forcing Sasori into a Genjutsu, asking if he has any informants on Orochimaru. With Naruto searching through Sasori's memories using his overwhelming power of the Rinnegan, it would be no time flat, before Sasori's mind would be broken. Sasori would have tears running down his face, with Lee looking concerned at Naruto. Naruto would assure him he didn't torture him or anything, he just used Genjutsu to read his memories, saying it was unbelievably sad. Having seen the memories of Sasori as a young child and his parents, and the puppets that had played them once they had passed away. Lee would finish off Sasori, bowing after as he crushed the heart canister, as Sasori would finally die, passing on to meet his parents, Chiho watching as her grandson passes away. Deidara would still be hanging to the wall by a truth-seeking orb, and at this point would have been trying to rip his arm off, successfully detaching it just as Naruto had finished off Sasori with his Genjutsu. Deidara would try and run for it, creating a clay bird as he tries to escape. Naruto would look up, sighing, saying, "Almighty pull." Using the power of his Rinnegan, Naruto would pull Deidara off his bird, sending him pulling directly towards Naruto's hand, as Naruto grabs Deidara by the back of the head and throws him at the ground. Kakashi, Yamato, Use your wood style and your Sharingan to pacitate him. This one's going to be annoying, I can tell, Naruto would say. Kakashi would be a bit stunned watching Naruto have such control over the situation, almost feeling like a completely different person than what he had used to be, back when he was a younger child. Chiyo would be standing over Gaara, as she would be about to use her medical ninjutsu to sacrifice her life to bring back the Kazekage. As she's about to use the ninjutsu, Naruto would hold his palm out saying that he can handle this much, placing his palm over Gaara's heart, using the same technique he had used to bring my guy back from the brink of death, with him restarting the chakra inside of Gaara, as well as revitalizing him from the tailed beast being ripped out. Considering Hagoromo was the one to create the tailed beasts, he would have expert knowledge on this without having to kill Lady Chiho. This means that Lady Chiho successfully survives the arc thanks to Naruto and his influence with his power as a Sage of Six Paths. Hagoromo would then summon back his True-Seeking Orb, which was still planted in the wall, as Data's arm would fall to the ground. As they're heading back towards the Sand Village, just about to get outside the gates, Naruto would be thinking about the information he had learned about his informant, that being Kabuto. Kabuto being one of Sasori's spies that was laid within Orochimaru's hideout. I never would have expected someone as loyal to Orochimaru as him to be a spy, Naruto would be thinking. Anyway, he was supposed to be meeting him outside the grass village before his demise, so I guess I'll be meeting him there instead, he'd be saying. Naruto would actually decide to conceal this information for himself, knowing that this would lead directly to Sasuke and not wanting to get the rest of the village involved. By this point in the mission, Sai and Lee had already begun to not get along, with Sai's empty and callous look being the exact opposite of Lee's nature of youth and his joy. The two's ideologies being completely different, Sai following the root shinobi path, as well as how his brother had lived before his death, as Lee would have his own path, that being the path springtime of youth that Guy Sensei had lit out before him in those 3 years. As they're about to enter into the Sand Village, Dataro would decide that his life was not worth ending like Sasori, as he tries to activate his final detonation, trying to take out the Sand Village with him. This time, Kakashi would actually be the one to step in, thinking that it was his turn to show what he's capable of during the last couple of years. Kakashi now unveiling the Mangekyo Sharingan, which Naruto would know about in this timeline, and he would use his Kamui, summoning the explosion and Datara using Kamui into the other dimension, with Datara's death being effectively meaningless. Datara, now having passed away, would have disappeared, his body having been completely ripped apart and sent into the dimension that Kamui teleported things to. With Datara gone, both the Akatsuki members would have been wiped out, and they would have fulfilled the mission, having saved the Kazekage. However, the One-Tailed would have been captured, meaning that they already were one step closer to awakening the Ten Tails. Naruto would report this back to Tsunade, having returned back to the Leaf Village, Kazekage Gaara having now been reinstated at the Sand. This Naruto would not inform the Leaf Village about the information he had gained about Sasori's informant, meaning that Naruto was planning to intercept Sasuke by himself. Naruto had known that the moment he returned to the village, Danzo would have the Anbu Black Ops on him at all times, that being due to him having both the Nine Tails and the Rinnegan, one of the most powerful dojutsu of the three, the most revered one. Naruto would leave a shadow clone, fooling the Anbu Black Ops just long enough for him to make his escape. The Anbu would be going after him, but it was too late. All they would see is a faint glow of yellow in the distance, as Naruto and Cassian would be moving at fast speeds, using the almighty push to send him a good 500 meters away before they could even have gotten there. Naruto would now be running, having escaped the Anbu far easier than he had anticipated. Now it would be only a matter of time before they would relay the information back to Danzo, and send Sai and the other root Anbu after him. But Naruto wasn't planning on making this easy. Naruto would create several hundred shadow clones, and have them spread out going in different directions. Naruto himself obviously heading towards the grass village, while the other clones would be moving still at the same speed towards other villages and other national borders. It was too late. Danzo would be completely unable to track Naruto, with Naruto having safely escaped out of the Leaf's range. Only enemy territory from here, he'd think. By daybreak, Naruto would have arrived by the bridge where he'd be awaiting for Kabuto's arrival. Naruto using the Rinnegan could see for many miles away, similar to the Byakugan's prowess with his own visual prowess, so he would know when Kabuto is coming, plenty of time for him to use the transformation jutsu to transform into Sasori's puppet form. Once Naruto had transformed, he would simply hobble across the bridge, standing there as he awaits Kabuto to stand next to him in his own black cloak, prepared to announce to Sasori the information he had promised to bring to him. Little would Naruto know, though, that in this specific occasion, Kabuto had been planning to betray Sasori, with Orochimaru having lifted the curse that was placed upon him from Sasori all those years ago. That being the seal that would control Kabuto into obeying him. As Kabuto would strike using his chakra medical blade, Naruto would leap backward, de-transforming back into his normal self, his white robe covered with tomoe around the neck and his necklace dangling, as he lands his hand on the bridge, him looking up, his purple eyes flecking up towards Kabuto's. "Well, that's a surprise," Kabuto would say. "I didn't think you were Lord Sasori." With him saying this, Naruto would smirk, saying, "You know I'm not." With him stating this and now standing up straight, Kabuto and Naruto would stare each other down. As Orochimaru began to approach from the horizon, Naruto would already sense his chakra with the Rinnegan, no matter how he tried to hide it. "I see your master's here as well," Naruto would say. Well, Kabuto would ask. "It's time that Lord Orochimaru take those pretty eyes of yours, as well as the Nine Tails while we're at it. Come, Naruto Uzumaki." As Kabuto would then reach his hand back, creating the large chakra blade of using his medical ninjutsu, he'd run forward towards Naruto trying to attack him. Naruto would simply use taijutsu, using one hand as he blocks the blade and moves Kabuto around him, maneuvering, not even taking a simple step, as he would spin Kabuto all the way around, cutting one of the sides of the bridge. Naruto using chakra control would stand on the wooden plank, with him still staying straight as the bridge was beginning to tumble. Orochimaru would slither from the ground, rising as he meets Naruto's eyes. Naruto watching as Orochimaru had approached the battlefield. "Where's Sasuke?" Naruto would ask in a commanding tone. Orochimaru would snicker, thinking as he then says, "A mere child can never command me to tell them anything. If you really want to know, why don't you come beat me then?" Orochimaru would say. Naruto began walking forward across the bridge, having no trouble, as Kabuto stabs his hand into the plank where Naruto is about to step. Naruto would simply look down as he takes his foot and jams into Kabuto's face, sending him flying off down into the valley below. Kabuto, using his medical ninjutsu, would then attach himself, slashing into the stone wall as he then catches himself saying, "You know, I really could have died there," he'd say, looking up, his face contorting with rage. Naruto would simply look down, saying, "I have no time for small fry." "Well, let's do this, Snake." Naruto would walk forward calmly with steps as he makes it over the bridge, him now standing eye to eye with Orochimaru, him showing no fear, hesitation, nothing. Orochimaru would be slightly intimidated, having no idea what this Naruto had actually been through, and that he himself was facing the Sage of the Six Paths as he spoke. Then, the battle would begin between Orochimaru and Naruto. Naruto wouldn't be going all out from the beginning, considering he wasn't trying to kill Orochimaru. He only wanted to find Sasuke and bring him back with him, so he could reunite Lee and Sasuke. What I'm trying to say is, he wouldn't even ask for Kurama's help. Naruto would flick his hand as a true seeking orb comes flying out, summoned from seemingly nowhere using his yin and yang release. Naruto would slam the true seeking orb towards Orochimaru, hitting him in the stomach as it then pushes him flying back through the air, as Orochimaru then sheds his skin to avoid the harsh blow to his chakra. Naruto continued walking forward, summoning the true seeking orb back to him, as he then clashes it to the ground, forming it into the staff of the Sage of the Six Paths, taking steps forward one at a time. 2. He would then hold his hand forward as he uses the almighty push. Using that godly pull, he would push Orochimaru towards him, summoning him using the Rinnegan. Orochimaru would get ripped, trying to drag into the ground with his nails as he's getting pulled towards Naruto. As he's using the pull, Naruto would hold another tree-seeking orb out as he then points it towards him like a spear. Orochimaru barely able to dodge within the air to avoid the stab. With Orochimaru now being on the ground behind Naruto, now swinging on the bridge. Damn it! Orochimaru would then use multiple clones, hoping to distract Naruto long enough for him to escape, realizing that this Naruto is completely out of his league, not having even been forced to tap into the power of the Nine Tails. Perfect, Naruto would be thinking. Naruto would have used the human path to create technology, specifically a tracker, as he would have stabbed into Orochimaru just as he was trying to escape, making the wound appear as though Naruto had simply failed his attack by stabbing it with a truth-seeking orb. The truth-seeking orb being ripped out from Orochimaru himself as he throws it away, the tracker having been successfully implanted. Naruto would then try to run after Orochimaru as he and Kabuto would make their escape, saying that they can't take him on like this right now. They have to come up with a plan to take on those damn Rinnegan. Naruto would simply pretend to fail chasing them as he then stands on his hands and knees, breathing heavily. Naruto, having successfully implanted one of the chakra rods from the 6 paths, could barely contain his smile as he was finally able to go and find Sasuke. Naruto would take a few steps forward before his feet begin to lift off the ground, with him flying. I haven't done this in a while, he'd be thinking, as Naruto would then calmly float towards the direction that his Rinnegan and his chakras pointing him to, that being where Sasuke was, that being Orochimaru's hideout. If you guys want to see the next part for What If Naruto was a Sage of 6 Paths, that'll be part 12 and the finale to the series. Make sure to hit that like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this from me. I have What If Naruto Had Sunshine having a new part probably coming out next. Not after this video, but the one after that. And then part 12 after that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.